Well,
Thank
it's
you.
your girl, Yuslin. How are you?
Wonderful. How are you?
I'm good, thank you.
Yes.
Welcome to Ano Yun Apan Kunlat. Ano Yun Apan Kunlat, which means in English, let's get to know each other.
So, hi, Adam. It's a pleasure to have you with us tonight, and I'm all excited to know more about the person. Yeah, so I've heard a lot through my sister, but yes, I want to know more through you. Yeah.
My pleasure.
Well, as usual, we ask the guests to introduce themselves to the audience. Well, you already know my audience is mostly people on social media. So I want you to introduce yourself. Tell people who you are.
All right. About me, my name is Adam Karriem. I am currently doing my PhD in leadership and organizational behavior. I graduated with my associates in information technology from Berkeley College. I continued on and got my bachelor's in business at Berkeley College. And I continued on after that, and I got my master's in management at Berkeley College. And now currently I am finishing up my PhD. I'm in my last year. I just got my approval for my dissertation. And hopefully by summer of 2023, I should be done. All right. And
Wow.
It was a long journey.
actually, no, I don't believe it's a long journey. I started at the end of 2016, and it's only 2022, and I'll be on my fourth and last degree. I feel like it was a short journey. It just felt long when you actually start, but I think once you start going into it, it actually isn't as long as you expect. I think it's the first steps that get you nervous. And I think that every degree I started, the first steps in the first semester was one of those where I was like, oh my God, I don't think I can do it. This is crazy. But then I was actually in the school doing what I have to do. I'm learning a lot. I actually learned the most from my fellow students in the class. And that actually propelled me to keep going. And then once I get that degree, I don't know, I must love torture, but I start to feel like I'm missing school and I'm missing other people that actually are going for what they're going for. And it's like, I just jump right back in. Then I get the nerves and the jitters again. After I get past this first semester, everything starts to settle down. And I just want to go back. I don't know. I think I'm like a glutton for school and punishment, but ultimately I want to be a professor. So I think that's the route I have to go anyway.
Wow, you go for it.
Yeah.
And well, just for like people, just because I know Adam for like, let's say since 2016.
Yes.
Oh, how long ago that was?
Uh-huh. 16, yeah. I can tell you that you will be a great professor.
Oh, yes, we will.
Thank you.
Actually, you are a very good leader.
Oh,
Oh, yes, you are. Because I'm telling you, I've been following you, and I've heard a lot, like I said, through my sisters. To my sister. And there's another thing. When I go to Berkeley, I've seen you like on many boards. So yeah. So that's when I asked Yuslin, like, is Adam working at Berkeley or is he a student? No, seriously. I asked her, and she told me that you were a student. So I was kind of surprised because I'm not the type of person of making friends. That's kind of weird. Yeah. So when I go to school, using always like, Jennifer, you have to speak to the others. You have to find a connection. But as soon as the class is done, I'm going home. Yes. So for you to be on actually every board in the school, it's like you are an open person. So
now, contrary to popular belief, what if I told you I was very much an introvert?
I would not believe you.
All right. Now, one of the things about me is I started college late. So I always felt, well, little background story. I'm the 14th of 16 children. So my mother had 16 children. There are 10 boys and 6 girls. So now the thing is, I'm all the way at the end. I'm at 14. So I was always to myself. And one of the things was when I was in school, I was very quiet to myself, not talking to people. And teachers used to always tell me that, oh, you're smart, but you just don't push yourself forward. One of my biggest things was I was always scared to give the wrong answer. And I used to see other students scared to do the same thing. And since I was an introvert, I was like, when you don't say anything, people pick at you and they just try to see what's on your mind because you're not saying something. It's like they can sense it. So one thing I learned in school is, and I'm not telling anybody to do this, but one thing I learned when I was younger was always answer first, especially when it's things that you know. If you answer enough times in the beginning of things that you do know, then nobody's going to ask you anything. So when it comes around to the hard stuff, you got it easy. So I did that. But going back to Berkeley College, when I went to college, I first just wanted to see if I could do a semester. I wasn't really into it. And I'm a first generation graduate. Nobody else in my family has graduated college. So I just wanted to see if I could do one semester. And as I was doing it, at first, I personally didn't care what the professor had to say because I had my own life experiences. And that was one of my barriers. But one thing I did learn was hearing from other students was like the best thing for me. And it's like just to find out what people go through in life, what their experiences are, their trials and tribulations, because that was my inspiration. And I say thank you for saying that I'm a great leader, but my way of leading is to follow. I am as great as a leader as the people that believe in me. So I try to learn about everybody, learn what's going on with them. And if I can give you inspirational words, and I'm human. So I don't think that, everything I do, I'm going to get it done right the first time, anything like that. And I do get scared. I do get nervous stepping forward. I'm going for my PhD. I honestly did not even think that I would be going this far. But I see everyone just pushing forward, and it's like the smiles on the faces, and they're like, oh, you believe in me, and I'll do it because you believe in me. No, actually, you are inspiring me. So if I feed off energy, so if I can put some energy into you to push forward, that actually gives me more energy, and it actually gives me a great pleasure of knowing that other people are moving forward and doing what they got to do. So you all make me a great leader.
Oh, no.
That's why I say that you're a good leader. So
We are good leaders.
Oh yes, we are. Yeah. Well, what can I say about Adam? Adam, to tell you the truth, you are the one of the first person that opened my mind when it comes to speak up. Um, whether to say hi to a peer or just open a conversation or having a conversation. I don't know if you remember, you used to be the 43rd, yeah, 43rd building.
Out my building.
Yes, just passing by, walking around and say hi, and always nice to people, like saying hi, how are you, how are you doing, oh, what are you doing in the hallway, anyway, you don't have class. Just just picking on me, or just that little part of picking on me was a good part because I was learning things about my own self. And when you start that conversation, and that's how I okay, all right, let's have a conversation, and that's how we start having a conversation. You remember? And yeah, and I was like, oh my god, there's so much more to learn, whether about myself self or about the world or people around me. I was missing a lot. And that's how that's how we end up, keep contact, and even after with COVID and so on. And right now, that's how I still have your information. But what I want to say, like, like say that, okay, I'm going to school and just do what I have to do, and that's it. I don't want to talk to anybody. I don't want to interact with anyone, or I just want to be myself and take whatever I'm here to take, the knowledge, the education, and that's it. Is the best thing? No, it's not the best thing, because having like even like 2 or 3 people that you interact with, like having a conversation with, or ask questions about, whether about your program or about the school or about anything, if you get the chance to do that, and if someone comes to you, give you that opportunity to open up, to have like the conversation, just go for it.
Yes, you're right. And that's one of the biggest things. Like when I met you, off the top, I already knew that you had a lot of knowledge. Like hands down, you had a lot of knowledge. I used to walk by classes, and I don't know. I always feel like I was the mayor of the college. So I used to just walk by the school.
You are, you are still are.
So I just walk by, and if I see you in class, and it's like, yeah, you answer the question and things like that if you're asked upon it. But the thing is, one thing I learned about life, business, so society, anything, you just have to take that first step to push forward, because you might not realize it, but somebody might be looking up to you, or you inspire somebody, and they just need to hear your voice. They just need to know, like, okay, you know what? If this person is pushing forward, then I could do it. And the thing is, you always had that in you. You just was like, okay, you know what? I'm just here to do what I got to do and stuff like that. And I was like that too. But seeing so many people not saying something, and I was a bit older than like a lot of people in the class, it just pushed me to like, you know what? All right, I'm gonna step up, I must do something. And then it's like, okay, I stepped up and did something. We all can do it. Like, it's always great. And when you go in the business world, that's what takes you from point A to point B in the business world. You don't want to be in one situation where it's like, okay, you have the knowledge, but you're going to get overlooked because you aren't vocal about it. And if you have that in you, and you can take that out of you, and you can translate it and translate the knowledge and be a friendly person, or be a person that can interact, you got it. You can go as far as you want to go. No matter how much you learn in life, it means nothing if it's not coming out of your head. So it doesn't matter. But if you can translate it to anybody, well, you can go anywhere.
No, that's true. And let's say the fact that you open up, the fact that you always say, "Hi, how are you? What are you doing in the hallway?" Like open a conversation with me, that like, something in me changed, like for good. And I learned something new about myself. And the first thing I trust me, the first thing I did was, okay, now I'm going to participate in class. And not only that, I'm going to ask questions. I'm going to ask around. I don't have to know this person. I'm going to have a conversation with that person. And this helped me a lot, because let me tell you, if it wasn't for that, I would be here, sitting here having this conversation with you and my sister.
Yeah, like when I first started seeing you, doing this, I was like, oh wow, okay. You know what? I was like, last thing you was talking about was you going to pursue your master's, and I'm like, okay, you know what? And I respect that. Now, this is the funny part. As much as I talk, I cannot do that. I cannot. It's like I don't know. It's just like, you know what? Stop while you're ahead. But seeing that people are pushing forward, stepping out of their comfort zone and doing things like that, it's a blessing. It's a blessing to see. And a conversation, the best way to start a conversation is with a smile. You might not know how to start a conversation, but one thing you do have, you can keep a conversation going. And that is the biggest key. It never matters on how you start something, it's about how you finish. And you got that. So like I said, I was proud to see, you in school and doing what you have to do. And I missed it because it's like when everybody starts leaving and everybody starts graduating, things like that. One of the biggest things were y'all were the reason why I stayed and why I kept going to that school. I could have been left and went to another college, but it was because of y'all. And I just said, you know what? I'm gonna keep doing it. If Berkeley had a PhD, I would have been there.
I know.
Yeah. So actually what can I say? Because of my sister, I can actually now talk to people. Yeah, because of her, because of Euclid. Yeah. And I also, when she introduced me to the show, I was like, oh my God, how am I gonna do this? Like having this thing in front of me and talking to people, this is not my thing, okay? I'd rather be behind the camera instead of, yeah, I don't mind. I can take pictures, I can do everything, but please don't ask me to come sitting with you and talk. So the first day, I was all sweaty. Yeah.
Nervous, yeah.
I
You
was very
nervous.
sweaty, yeah, but I was like, listen, what am I gonna say? Like she's stripping. And after that, we sat down and then we talked. We had fun. Then after, I said, you know, that's something I can do. That's one thing I didn't know about myself because I'm not open. So yeah. So she also helped me.
Yeah.
That's one
Now,
thing.
my thing is, and congratulations to you, because what if I told you that? What if I told you that I couldn't even do a job? I was at, like, during COVID, I had a job interview, but they said it was for teaching. Now I was already a teacher, but that was before COVID. So they was like, oh, well, what you have to do is you have to do, like, I think it's like 5 or 10 minutes interview, but you got to video record yourself. I swear that was the hardest thing to do. It was so hard for me to do. I just quit. I just quit doing it. I was like, I literally was on the video. I still got the recording somewhere. If I find it, I'll send it. I said, I can't do this. You know what? No, this job's not for me. I'm not gonna do this. And I was still recording. And I stopped it after, and I never did it anymore because, like I said, it takes a lot for a person to break out their shell and do that. And that is one thing that anybody that can get in front of a camera, even they first try, you get nervous, but to continue and do it, I commend you wholeheartedly because it's not something that's easy to do. A lot of people think they can do it until they're in front of that camera and they're like, oh my God, I don't want to slip in any words. Oh, you know what? Oh, what about what's going on? It's a fear because it's out there. But if you can do it and you can give it some personality and push forward and just keep the conversation going from here and here, you have a great skill and it will take you far. I won't be able to do it because I've been procrastinating on this all the time, but
You are doing it now.
but I'm not hosting. I'm just listening right now. Look at it. Right now, y'all are feeding me the questions and I'm doing it. But if I was here, just go ahead, just wing it. I'll be sweating. I'm like, okay, you know what?
I don't believe you, Adam. I don't believe you. I have to see it with my own eyes.
Exactly. You're not going to see it. So now you got to believe it because I can't do it.
But one question I hate when I do my interviews, I don't know if both of you are like that. It's when they said, can you describe yourself? That's one thing I hate. Yes, I can describe, like, I can talk about everything, but when it comes to myself, I can't.
You know what? You know what I think? I think it's the question. The problem is the question.
Yes.
I don't think you have, I don't think you have like any problem to describe, like describing yourself. I don't think you have problem describing yourself. I just think it's the question. The question is very intimidating.
I'm telling you, I'm like, oh my God, what am I gonna say?
Um, yeah, because we describe ourselves like sometimes we describe ourselves. We don't even know that we are doing that.
Yeah.
We are talking about like who we are. Oh, who do we think we are, and what we do, like for fun or such and such and so on. But we don't even realize that we are describing ourselves.
Oh, yeah, that's true. I'm like,
Yeah,
that's the worst question ever.
What it is, I'll be honest with you, it's the worst question that you can give the best answer to.
No.
If they ask you to describe yourself, the truth be told is what time of day? In what setting? Because my thing is this, I can describe myself about anything.
About
You
anything.
got You have to give me a scenario because
Yeah.
my thing is, if it's a job interview and they say describe myself, honestly speaking, one of the things I learned about interviewing, and I've done this in every interview, and it has not steered me wrong yet. I never let anybody dictate how my interview is going to go because once it gets to a certain extent, I can. Every job is different, no matter what. Every job is going to require different things. Certain one is going to have a certain format that another one is not going to do. And a lot of jobs, they'll sit there and ask you for all these qualifications. Then when you get to the job, they'll be like, forget everything you ever learned. So what are you asking me for then? So my biggest thing I tell people when it comes to job interviews, I said it's not about what I say or what I write down and what what I say, what I'm going to say I can do. It's about what I'm willing to learn. Because the truth be told, it doesn't matter. I can tell you anything. If you ask me to describe myself, I'm going to give you me at my best.
The best version of myself.
Yeah. Being realistic, you're never going to always be that same person, that same mindset. You can go to work and you can have somebody 2 weeks in a row. They're not doing their job and they're making your job a problem. And then somebody say, describe you right now, describe yourself. Annoyed. They're not gonna want to hear that. But the thing is, those questions are like open-ended questions and things like that. So it's like, it is what it is. I don't stay away from those questions, but it's like, listen, you want to laugh right now? You want to know all the things that you want to hear? I'll give it to you. But ultimately, it's up to you to decide.
All right.
I agree with you because you asked me to describe myself. I'm gonna make sure that I describe myself pretty.
Mhm. Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
So, yeah. So Adam, my question to you: pursuing your education was something that you like was something that you always wanted, something that
No,
you dream of, or
no, no. I was always a smart aleck. I always, I always loved to like. Growing up in a big family, we had to actually fend for ourselves at a very young age. So one of the things that I had to learn, and my father always instilled in us, was if you got to learn a trade or learn how to do things yourself. Don't ask anybody for anything or any handouts. So I grew up very, very, very poor. And because I grew up like that in New York, it was to the point where, like, all right, let me describe how I grew up. Like, I grew up poor, where it was, I didn't have shoes to go to school. So we had to share shoes. So I couldn't go every day. So what I tried to do is I tried to just go on Friday so I can take my test. And the thing was, yeah, I could pass my test, but then attendance was always bad. And the teachers and the students used to look at me and say, you know, how are you learning this, or where you learning things from because you're only going to school? Do you think you're so smart that you only can go on a day of taking tests? No, I just don't understand the struggles that I've been through. So I have to make, actually I have to make a sacrifice. And the thing was, my sacrifice was, I thought that, well, if we're going to be graded, I'd rather be there the times that I'm going to be graded so I can get a good grade than to come a random day and have a zero on one of those days. So when I was in school, since I had to learn for myself, I got to the point where I felt like I didn't need school because I could learn everything on my own. And before the year I decided to go to college was the year my father and my brother passed away. So the thing was, one day I was talking to my father and my mother, and they was talking about school and something like that. I don't know how it just caught up, but I was like, nobody graduated? I thought people did graduate. They said, no, nobody graduated. Nobody ever graduated college. And I said, you know what? Let me test myself and see if I can actually do one semester. And I really didn't care. I was about to just leave. And I met a professor. I know you remember this professor. His name is Raul Mendes. And yeah, and he actually he's a great friend. I actually speak to him every day, period, since there. And he inspired me to keep going to college. He was my first class, and for my last project, he had me write a paper when it came to information technology. It was 40 pages. And I did not like writing in school, period. But I was like, 40 pages? I'm not going to be able to do this. But he was such a great professor that I didn't want to let him down. And I did the paper. And he said, wow, you did the paper. Because I was rushing around to give him the paper. And he said, wow, you did the paper. I was like, yeah. He was like, good. But, you even if you didn't catch me, you would have passed anyway with an A. Because I had 100. So for the whole semester, I had 100. So I'd have went down to a 90. But but I was like, wow, you had me do this long paper, and it didn't matter. I was gonna pass anyway. So after I did that, the next semester, he told me that he was going to sabbatical, and he said, well, I'm going to sabbatical, and just keep going. And when I come back, we'll talk and things like that. So when he came back, I was actually still going through class and things like that. And he told me, listen, you're great. Just keep going, keep going. And I was like, man, I don't know. I don't think I want to keep going. He's like, nah, keep going. I believe when you keep going and things like that. So one day he told me to come to his class. And when I came to his class, he introduced me in his class and he asked a question. There was a question on the board. And he asked me about he's like, I know Adam, he know about computers, he know about IT and things like that. So Adam, what do you suggest about this question? So I give my answer. And then he asked the other students, like, do any of you have an argument? And while he was asking me that, asking the students that, one student said something, but I was talking to the student, and another student said something, I was talking, and then those people that wasn't talking, but I was talking to them in the back. And the class was over. And I was like, oh my God, I'm sorry, I wasted your whole class, because I was talking. And then he told me, he said, no, actually, you didn't waste my class. I was observing you. He said, I was observing how the students listen to you, how you can get them to interact and how they laugh with you while they're learning and they take away things and stuff like that. And, how they remembered your name after the first time you're there and stuff like that. He said, you have what it takes to be a professor. So I was like, whatever, still paying the mind. He's like, I want you to keep going. I want you to promise me that you'll keep going because I believe that you can be a professor. And after that, I don't know, something just sparked in me. And I was like, okay, you know what? A professor came up to me and he believed in me so much. And it just inspired me to keep going. And he kept telling me all the time, like, I see you walking through the hallway and all the students love you and they listen to you. I see the students that aren't going to class, but when you walk by them and say, I know you're not cutting and things like that. And then they go to class. He was like, that's what they need. They need someone like you. You have to do that. And, even if you're not teaching while these students are here, there are people that would need a person like you. And that just pushed me forward to keep going. And I was like, you know what? I respect his decision. I respect, his comments and things like that. And I just kept going. So he just always called me professor. He always called me doctor. And I feel like, I feel like embarrassed because it's like, I'm not a professor, I'm not a doctor yet and nothing like that. But he just like, but it's coming. You're going to be my colleague. You're not going to be my student anymore. So it's like, that's what kept me going. So now here I am.
No, he was right and he is right. So yeah,
you made it.
You made it.
Yeah.
I'm so glad that he crossed, like, this professor crossed your path because he did something great.
Mhm. Yeah, and it's not every day that you listen to people.
The conversation that he was having with you, like the motivation, like everything. I think that's what we need sometimes.
Yeah.
To keep pushing through, to keep up motivated.
Yeah. And that's one of the things that I never experienced it. And that was one of the things that was like, wow, I do appreciate Berkeley College for that because I never been anywhere where I seen a place where so many people cared. And I was like, okay, you know what? Maybe they're just doing this for a check. But then I had professors that were like, okay, you know what? What's going on? Let me see what's going on. They will go into your records and get your phone number to see if you're coming to class. And there was a student that he was going through, like when I first started, he was going through, he had a heart issue or something like that. And it was like really concerned about him, checking up on him, making sure he could do this and do certain things. And then he miss the test. And then they reached out to him and said he could schedule to do it over, and they understood. And I was like, damn, like I'd never seen nothing like this. But you're right. Sometimes people need that. You don't know what's going on in somebody's life, and there are things that people go through and hurdles that they go through that they feel like they can only go through it alone. Nobody cares or understand, and you can be that one person that just light their path, and they're forever grateful.
Yeah. So your teacher, he helped you create a path, right? So you didn't want to be a teacher. You didn't know what you wanted to be, right? So
No, not really. I always went wherever the wind blew me. Before I even came to the school, I was already running a restaurant. So I had a restaurant that I was running. I had basically my own business. I was an IT technician. So there was things that I already did. So I felt like, okay, I know how to make money. I know how to do things like that. But what he given me is the sense of compassion for other people and wanting to see other people strive. And that was like he just lit the flame for me and it's put me in a whole different path. Even where I'm at now, like right now, I'm in social work. So I started out as a case manager, in 2019, and in less than a year, I became a supervisor and now a manager. I'm at Women in Need right now, and I just help people. So I'm doing things that's not even within my within my job description, but it's like as long as it's helping people, I feel great. I wake up every morning and I feel great that I'm helping somebody. To hear somebody say that, what, thank you for helping me get out of this situation, or enlightening me on my path and things like that, or give me some kind of knowledge, that makes me feel great.
okay. So besides going to school and working, what kind of activities you do to have fun?
um I used to I used I used to be big on handball. I played games here and there. I was kind of athletic, but I had a lot of things where it's like if it's like games or things that make me think and stuff like that, like puzzles and things like that, I would do it. But now my activities, it's helping people. Honestly, my extracurricular activities is always helping somebody. So whenever I have ample and free time, I try to help somebody out. I'll try to do like community service. Like I was part of I was the president of the NAACP. So I was always doing community service and helping other people. So that's just one of my things that I just feel like I got to do. If I'm not helping somebody somewhere down the line, then I'm not progressing.
Okay, that's nice. Very nice. But
You
you said that.
be proud.
Mhm.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
you said that you work as a social worker, right?
Yeah, I'm a manager now. I came from being a case manager and moved all the way up to manager now.
What kind of work is it? Like, do you work like women in need, or is it child services, or is it what kind?
Okay, where I started working with adult families in a shelter to help them find housing, employment, and also any kind of medical um, help that they need. And I went on to being a supervisor at a men's shelter and helping men find employment, housing, and any kind of service that they may need. Now I'm in family with children. Like it, it's in a, it's in the, the nonprofit homeless, you know, organization. But the thing is, I try to make a full circle around and try to help everybody and try to find out the different things that make these organizations tick. A lot of times people tell me like, "Oh, I just start an organization up." I don't think so. I just like to be that piece of the puzzle that's in there to keep things together instead of just being on top. So
Okay, so you seems very sensitive and tough at the same time. So everybody got a soft spot. So when it comes to working, like when it comes to that job, um, what is the worst part of it?
um,
Like seeing a child being neglected, or someone who you're trying to help, but I mean, you cannot fully help. But
um,
so
the irony is, like, there's a lot of things that are hard and trying, but I come from a family where things were very bad. So, I understand that how far somebody can be down, and I also understand how far you can go. Like I tell people all the time, I started below I started in the negatives, but I pushed myself up. So I don't believe that nothing is possible. I just believe that the worst feeling to have is to know that there's somebody that don't give themselves the right shape. They just want to be in a bad situation. They don't want to get themselves out, and they think it's nice and it's healthy. When somebody just want to be dependent and don't want any kind of help, that's the saddest thing. Because at the end of the day, it's like I can't really say if somebody's struggling and want help, I would say it's sad, but then in the same breath, it's actually inspiring because it's hard to ask for help. So you see a person that's asking for help, and it's like, you know what? I know it's hard. I don't even ask for help. Like I kid you not, I can't swim, but I swear, I think that I think that happened to me. I was drowning. I didn't ask for no help. It's like I was like, listen, I'm gonna have to find a way out. But the ask for help is very hard, and for someone to ask for help, I commend them. So in that field, it's a lot of things that are very saddening because I've dealt with a lot. I've dealt with being in a facility that I'm hearing that a client passed away. I've been in a facility and I leave, and then there are clients that will tell me, Adam, please don't go. You're the only one that helped me. And it's a lot. So I still try to help. Like even though I'm in one organization, that doesn't mean that I don't help the previous ones I was in. If I have any resources, they're for anybody. But it's life. You have your ups and downs, and in that field, you're gonna have your moments. And people tell you like, oh, you got to detach yourself from these situations. They're human. Nobody can completely. And if you can completely detach yourself, something about you is not human because there's no way. So, you just roll with the punches. Just know that if it's bad for you, when you get home, when you get a moment, take time to regather your thoughts and just understand that, okay, if this is hurting you this much, then that means that it should be much of an effort for you to try to do something to help that situation.
Yeah. So I got the last piece on my puzzle. Yeah. Yeah. You're definitely a good person. And trust me, you're gonna achieve a lot. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, and you are on the right route.
Yeah.
Well, you said a lot of things.
He left you speechless.
He left me speechless, but he also left me with a lot of inspiration.
Yeah.
I think it's, let's say, for like someone who coming from your background, like you just, you fill us in about your background, how you grew up, how was the family, how hard it was like to go to school, but keep pushing and you made it. But this give you, I believe, this give you a more strange, this give you like a purpose or more purpose to help other people.
Yes.
That you see where I'm going?
You know what's
I
what's
I know I'm gonna let you finish. I know that you can get any job that you wanted. No, I do know that. I know. Probably not at the beginning, but after, like,
yeah.
of course you can. But you choose that path to help. You're doing something that you like, but also something that you know. And I don't even know how to ask this question, but
Fast.
when you are helping those people, like, do you like take a few time to like think about your own self? Do you see, oh, okay, I have to help that, like, that person because I know what she's going through. I know, I know how it feels to like to believe in like this. I know how it feels. And the fact that I'm here today where I'm at, it's my job to help other people.
Like one thing about me is one funny truth about me is I'm a very emotional person. So the thing is, for me to not get emotional, I smile. It's like I don't like. It's like I got a poker face on. So when I smile a lot, so you know, like I smile a lot. Like I smile more than the average person.
I know.
At the
What,
age of 30,
what I didn't know, let me cut you out. What I didn't know that sometimes you smile because you don't want to get emotional. Now I know.
so now the thing is, when I was going through all the struggles in my life, I always sat there and I used to hate TV because when I looked at TV, I used to see people that was rich, famous, and things like that, and had so much. And all my life, I was like, damn, I want to be rich. I want to be famous. I want to be all these things. And at the age of 13, I started getting a moment of clarity. And I realized that He gives you everything that you want, just not in the way that you think that you want it. I learned that I wanted to be rich. So the thing was, because of how helpful I am to everybody and all the things that I've done for people, I can literally say that I can go around anywhere and not want for anything. Like I go places and people are like, oh, you want this here for free. And it took me time to realize that because people are like, oh, you're such a great person. You're such a nice person. And it's like, they respect me that they'll give it for free. And I was like, wow, I was like, damn, so I don't even need money. And something clicked in my head and said, damn, so I'm rich because I'm rich in character. I'm rich in respect. And then I wanted to be famous. And because I'm always smiling, I'm always a good person, people just knew me. So when I'm going places and people are like, oh, I know you. Oh, I've seen you before. And it's like, okay, so now it's like, all right, I have my own version of fame. With any circle that I'm in, I have the fortune, I have the fame, I have these things. And I just realized that, God put me through all of this stuff at a younger age. And, they say, God doesn't put nothing up, in front of you that he don't feel that you can, conquer. So I've conquered everything. Like I've been through struggles where I thought that I wouldn't see the other side, and I've been on the other side. And it's like, damn, you know what? He gave me that gift that I can overcome any obstacle. But then one thing that I had to learn is just because you have a gift, that doesn't mean that you be selfish with your gift. So what I try to do is I try to spread it out and ensure things. I know that I can survive. I can do things. I've been through the bottom. I've been through these things where I can struggle. And, I've had I had great resolve. But there might be somebody else that don't have that or didn't have a person to tell them that. So for me, it's like, I want to be that person. And I try to be that person that's like, all right, you know what? You can do it too. I try to always pay it forward. And seeing people succeed and things like that, it do bring it to my eyes. So I try to laugh it off and I'm like, damn, this person really, they really make me feel great about myself and about who they are because I seen them when they were one way and then they grew into something totally different. So it's always a great thing. When I used to hear, I used to see you and like, oh, hey, what's going on? You tell me all the things that you're doing. You're saying, oh, I'm doing good in school. I'm doing this and third. That's inspiring. It's like, that's great. Like, you know what? This person is taking control of their life and their destiny, and they're doing what they want to do to get to where they want to get, instead of just sitting here and saying, oh, things are bad. Oh, I just want to just escape and run away from things. No, you took life by the handle and you just steered yourself in a great direction. And that's a great thing. So,
Absolutely. Absolutely. No, you are an, if Adam is not inspiring people, I don't know.
Yeah.
Well, it's really, really, like I said, you still can do any other job, any kind of job, but you choose this one. and for a very good reason, to help others, to help them see the light that you see for your own self. And trust me, not anyone can do that. You see that like the thought that you have when you were like at age 13, you wanted to be famous, you wanted to be this, to be that. You could just stick with it, but you choose not to.
Mhm.
I know people will go for it. And you know, when you go on that path, unfortunately, most of the time you become ugly
Mhm.
because you feel like, okay, I've been suffering my entire life. I didn't have anybody helping me. Now I'm going to tear apart the world.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Here I'm coming for you. You be the hurt, like I'm serious. And it's a problem, psychological problem, but also a, this problem has to do with your own personality
Yeah.
and strength. So that's why I want to say today that I am very proud of you.
Aw.
And you're gonna keep winning. Oh yeah. And with this attitude, with this, I don't know, like the person you are, you're always gonna win. Yeah. Because it's having people around you helping others, making you feel like, okay, that you are famous, that you like you feel great about yourself. There's nothing else to say.
Mhm.
I'm telling you. That's the best quality one person can have.
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
Mhm.
let's say if you had to, how can I say that? If you had to share something with others that were in your situation growing up, or
Or
yeah, and or others who are like having the worst moment right now, toward like they don't know if they want to move forward with education, they don't know what to do for the like for the future. So what would be your I have the word in French in my mind.
Okay,
Ki- um
like,
what would be your thought towards them, like to have them move forward?
we need to hear some motivation words.
Exactly, like something to motivate them.
the thing is, like I said, everybody has a story to tell, and everybody is going to have someone that can relate to them. One of the biggest things is tell your story. Always tell your story. Your story is your life. Your story is your legacy. Your story is the road that you have traveled. It doesn't matter. You might fall back a little bit. You might fall down. You might stop for a second. The road don't end. It never mattered about how you start a race. It's about how you finish. You can sit there. You might not even notice. Somebody is going to look up to you and you won't even know. And you just keep going on in life, pushing forward. You sit there one day and just tell your story. You can have like a crowd of 100 people, 4, 6, 39, 100 people can sit there and say, you know what, I've been through that. And you know what, I didn't think anybody else was going through the same thing. And now that I'm seeing you, knowing that you went through the situation and you're pushing forward, it's inspiring me to push forward. In society, we are collective. No matter how individual we might think we are, we're collective. We cannot do everything by ourselves. We have to push each other forward, hold each other up, and and inspire each other. So the thing is, what I tell people all the time is live your life, do what you can do. Like, don't just stop. Don't be scared to push forward. Don't be scared to try something new. Anything's possible. Try a field that you might not think that is great. You have talent that you might not know that you have, but you would never know if you never tried. Like, education was something I always ran away from. But now look at me. I'm in a total opposite direction of where I thought and said I would be. For a person that was barely in school and never doing homework to a person that never missed doing homework, I never missed a test, I never missed any of that stuff, and I enjoy it. Like I literally love it. Like, okay, you know what? I can sit there and I can be confident and I can be happy to say, you know what? I've done this, and nobody can take that away from me. I know that this is me. This is who I've become. I've grown, I've learned, and I've actually met other people that made me want to be a better person. Like it doesn't matter if they're above you in life, if they're below you in life, they're right beside you. By you connecting with other people, you can become a better person. So just keep pushing.
Um, one question.
Yes.
You never had the idea of becoming like becoming a politician? Never?
What's funny is
No, because you have it in you. You do.
all right. How can I say this without making somebody feel bad? I was kind of into politics, and I learned that, well, politics is in politics, period, business, life, anything. One thing I learned is when it comes to politics, it's a great thing, but it's hard to have everybody that you're working with to be pure of heart and mind like you are. And when you're at the bottom and you're trying to get change and make change, those are your most purest thoughts, and those are your most heartfelt thoughts. In politics, there are people that will be above you that will utilize your beliefs, your aspirations in life, and your concerns, and they will use it to profit. So you have to really be cautious on how you approach things in politics, because I am very passionate. I am very passionate on equality. And I'm very passionate on doing what I say I'm going to do and sticking by my word. And I've had people, like, one thing a lot of people didn't know is that I was president of the youth branch for the NAACP in South Jamaica, Queens. And I was very passionate. I was going to all the marches. I was speaking my mind. I always felt that I never wanted to read from a piece of paper. I just always wanted to speak from my heart because it comes off more genuine. I didn't like to sound like a robot. Like, if you feel something and you're passionate about it, no matter what, it's going to translate. And I went to Albany, and there was a lot of politicians around. And as I was talking to other people about, my concerns and things like that, somebody said something that I kind of didn't like. He said, "I don't know what you're saying, but I'll endorse it." And my thing was, when somebody's young-minded or just want to be noticed or being heard, it's like, that's great. But my thing was, you don't even care what I'm saying, but you're just telling me that you care about the passion I have within. And that's not a good thing, because when I actually went to the NAACP, I went to the convention, I was speaking from my heart and I was speaking certain things. And I realized that people were just trying to utilize things that I was saying just to get themselves financial gain. So they will attach themselves from you. And some people will sit there and try to get funding or get in a position. And they will say so many things about, oh, we should do this, or we should make change, and this, and the third. And then when they get in office or they get to a certain extent and they say, oh, it's bigger than what you think it is. We can't just do this, and the third. And it's like, so you took my hopes and my dreams and you basically telling me that, yeah, you can do this, you can make a change. And if I get in this position or we get in this position, we can start making these changes. And then everything turns. Mm-hmm. So it's it's a kind of hurtful thing. So when it comes to, speaking, I don't mind speaking, but I love to speak with a free heart and a free mind, knowing that, listen, you can take what I'm saying and you can dissect it any way, but just know that I'm saying this from my heart, and there's no entity behind me that's telling me to say this or convincing me about this. No, this is what I observe, this is what I feel, and this is how I'm going to speak. And I don't want you to try to control me or to control my narrative or downplay what I'm saying and say, oh, you know what, condense this, or don't say this, just say a little bit. No, I'm not for that. Speak your heart and speak your mind, because once you compromise your beliefs and your hopes, you lose believability, and you lose the crowd.
Your true self. The most important. You lose your true self when you are trying to be someone that you are not. Like that's
Yeah, it's confusing sometimes. Yeah.
yeah, I feel you.
So I'm not gonna pressure you to change your path, but and if you go this way, it might be good for the youth.
Oh, listen. I don't mind speaking. Yeah, listen.
Like,
But
yeah,
if I do it, I would do it pro bono. I don't want nothing for it, because I never wanted to have a price tag on helping people. It's not really, it don't feel right. I just feel like, if you're going to help, you're going to help, whatever. You can have all my time as long as it's for a great cause. I don't care.
yeah.
I feel you. Wow.
But you know what's funny? At first, I thought you were Haitian, like the line. Yes. Remember I told you that yesterday?
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought you were Haitian. And his it was like, what are you saying? No, he's not. I said, what do you mean he's not? I said, yeah, he looks like Haitian, like me. And she was like, no, he's not. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. For some reason, I thought you were.
Nah.
Yeah.
A lot of people think I'm so many different things, but
Hmm.
ultimately, I'm of everything. I'm always around different people, different nationalities, different cultures and stuff like that. So I take a little from everything. I love well, from my experience with a lot of Haitians, they're very nice. They're very understanding. They're very, they have a lot of composure and things like that. So I take it as a compliment when people say things like that. Oh, you said this and that about a person. I think you're like this. Well, listen, from what I know, they're good people. So thank you.
Great. So Adam, I'm going back to what you said a lot of things, but something stays with me. Like I usually said to the figure public, such as like musicians, like the Asian musicians, or like anyone that have the power, like that for people to follow them, especially the youth.
Yes.
I usually advise them to talk about their past, or to talk about how they get where they are, like how do they get there? Because unfortunately, most of like um let's say popular figure, they don't usually talk about the struggle. They don't talk about struggles. They don't talk about challenges that they face, like in their like the past, or did they get there to be successful or whatever. They just show you the success, they show you the like great cars and the money, but never take the time to talk about how do I get here,
Mm-hmm.
to inspire like the youth. Because my biggest problem right now is that we have young people who want to be like a musician, for example, but they think it's easy. And when they can get it that easy way, they feel like they are like failure.
Yeah.
All that because they don't have someone to tell them, oh, how do I get there? Because that someone probably ashamed about the past, or about like the struggles that they face or she faced like during that time, and just not to share it with the, I don't know, with the society, and but gladly share the what they have right now. And this is not helping. This is not helping the youth, because they think things it's easy. They don't want to fight for what, like for their dreams. They think things are easy, and when they try and they fail, they feel like okay, I'm a failure. I never gonna make it.
Yeah. The thing is with the trial and tribulations, I tell people all the time, like, the people that's on top, they don't want to. It's like a crab in a barrel mentality. It's like a lot of times people don't want to give their secret on how they got to where they are. It's not about a secret. The thing is, sometimes it's not a secret. Some people just either by luck they were the one in a million, because there are so many talented people and they get overlooked daily. We live in New York City. New York City have like the most talent that you ever see. You can literally get on the bus, get on the train, walk the street and see talented people all around.
Mhm.
The thing is, a lot of times people mentality, because they came from such a struggle, they become selfish. They don't want to pay it. They don't want to pay it forward. They don't want to pay back. Like, oh, you know what? Let me tell somebody how I did it. And one of the things I tell people all the time, like, when coming from my situation, growing up very, very poor, I had a lot of hate inside, and a lot of youth have a lot of hate. So some people, they want to portray their music, their talents, and they want to utilize all the bad things in their life and use it as inspiration. I have no problem with that. But in the same breath, sometimes you have to take that bad energy you have and put it into your whatever you're talented at and leave it there. You don't hold on to it. Sometimes people don't know how to transition their energy. People just will, oh, I feel like I'm great. I feel like I'm talented and I deserve to be the best artist and things like that. No, sometimes you have to humble yourself. You have to learn things. Like, one thing about college, one of the biggest things about college is, was like psychology of adjustment. There's things that you have to let go and understand and know that, listen, these are the things that I can get, these are the factors in my life that I can control. These are the things that I cannot control. And for the things that I cannot control, I can't put too much force on it. Because I always looked at it as, my thing is like, things have like the rubber band effect. The more you pull back on something, the more you give so much energy. Once you let go, it snaps back and it gives you that same force. And a lot of people have that. So learn how to communicate to get by in life and in the music industry. Sometimes it takes baby steps. You can't think that, oh, I'm the greatest talent in the world and I deserve the biggest amount of money and I deserve all the riches. No, the objective is to get your foot in the door and then you work your way up. Everybody is not going to just open the door and explode to the top. It doesn't work like that. And sometimes we think that somebody just exploded to the top, but there's a lot of mechanics in the background that we just don't see moving. And that's where they get to their point. Like, let's say, okay, I'm from South Jamaica, Queens. So I'm going to use 50 Cent, right? 50 Cent was rapping for a very long time. A very, very long time. He was doing music. He didn't get anywhere. He was making mixtapes and things like that. And he did not get anywhere past making millions. It took him until the 2000s where he got on, with Eminem and Dr. Dre, and he got $2 million for that deal.
Unit.
Yeah. And that thing was, yeah, it took him a long time. And he was overlooked by so many people. He was on Def Jam. He was in these loops. But there are people that were in the position where they knew how to get on, or they could have helped the person get on. But no, I'm not doing that, because it's that crab in the barrel mentality. People sit there and say, you know what? Maybe I do see somebody that's more talented than me, but I don't want to give him a shot, because if I give him or her a shot, I'll get bumped down. Yes. And that's one of the biggest things. So my thing is, always tell people how you did it. Tell people, listen, the road is not hard. Our road might be different. The thing is, learn from your losses. Losses equal lessons. You're going to learn something every time you lose, and you build on that. Instead of getting upset and saying, oh, why? Oh, somebody's always doing this. Oh, I can't stand this. Oh, I'm mad. No, sit back, regroup, and gather. You went to a record label, you went somewhere, and you realized that the way you was talking was probably not in the person's interest. When he asked you, what are you looking for in this record label and stuff like that, you probably sat there and said you want a large amount of money, but your followers and things like that don't even equate to it. But yet there's another guy that sat there and said, yo, listen, I'll work with you. Give me this much time or give me this little bit of platform or whatever and let me work. And I had friends that when they were in music, I used to be writing music and stuff like that, a long time ago. And I used to sit there and I used to tell them like, listen, you can get in the industry, just take a lower deal. And once you start getting the friction and everything going and getting notoriety, you renegotiate. Nah. I think I'm great. I think I'm the best. And you don't get anywhere. And then I'll have another person that's a friend that he started going somewhere and now they're mad at him. Oh, they picked him, but they didn't pick me because I know I'm better. No, it's just that maybe this person translated better. Maybe this person is more of a person that you can have a conversation with and you can negotiate with. So that's why that person is where they are. But people don't care. The thing is, we all go through struggle. Our struggle may be in different shades, colors, and sizes, but it's still struggle nevertheless. The thing is, it's what you learn from it. And are you humble enough to take what you learn and take your setbacks and move forward without a chip on your shoulder? And that's what gets you success.
True, Dark. No, that's true. Well, I don't know. I don't even know how to thank you, like really, for having this conversation with us.
You are thanking me by you having this conversation is thanking me.
No, like really, it's like I said, it's really difficult to have like, um, you know, like someone like have like someone to like speak their truth and have like this young people to inspire with the truth, to like, okay, oh, that's okay, it's just a situation, I can push forward. Oh, okay, I just need to work hard. All right, it's okay if I fell, I will stand up again and continue, keep pushing. It's like it's not that easy to have like someone like you, like, to inspire them.
It's all about the energy and the energy that you put in your truth. Yeah, we have our downs and stuff like that. Like I literally got to the point where I remember there was a class where I was literally failing, and I was like, I'm failing. Like I was laughing, like, wow, I'm failing, and everybody's like, you sound so like you sound crazy. Like I'm like, he failed me. He's giving me, and everybody's like, you too uppity about the negative. And my thing is, it's negative, yes, but it's not going to hold me down. That door closes, there's going to be a crack in the wall or there's going to be a window that I can crawl out of. It doesn't matter. I'm not going to let that hold me down. Who cares? Nothing's going to be perfect. And if something is easy in life, you don't appreciate it. When we get to the finish line in life, we start realizing that the race was the best part about it. I don't care about the trophy. But when everybody was cheering me on when I was running, that was the best moment of my life. That's why people get rich and they start doing crazy stuff. You're already at the top. Where else can you go? And you know what happens when so many people are at the top, and there's nowhere else to go? What do? They run to drugs because drugs is an escape. But the people that's at the bottom are going up. I never want to be all the way at the top. Mankind and society, you need to have something that might not be attainable, but you have to have a goal. To not have a goal in life is to not be living life at all. So I don't care. I know I'll have a million and one things. I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna do that. There's some things that I know I'm not gonna do because I'd be too scared, or I'd be like, that's just not for me. But it's there, and I can sit there and say, okay, well, I ain't do that yet. It's on my bucket list. I'll try this something new because it's always something for me to strive for. It's cool. And that was something that I never thought. And I was like, okay, well, if I can do this, I think anything's possible. And it made me a better person in life. Like, okay, you know what? Here I am.
And we are proud of you. No, once again, I want to thank you, like from the bottom of my heart, like for sharing your experience with us, like everything.
I appreciate it.
Like really. Well, June 26th, it's gonna be our second anniversary.
Wow.
Mhm.
I'm alive.
Yes.
And one of the things that I regret is that you didn't have the time to meet our older sister.
Yes.
She always with us here. Yeah. In the Zoom. Yeah. It would be great to have her with us. Yeah. It would be fun.
We shall say hi to Karen.
Thank you. Yeah.
Karen. Yeah, so I don't know if there's anything you want to say for the second anniversary.
Uh, I would say that I appreciate being on here, and I am very happy to see how y'all have turned out. You know, time flies, but y'all have grown and y'all have done a lot. And I'm very, very honored to be here. And, y'all warm my heart because y'all are doing what y'all are meant to do.
Thank you so much.
And
And
keep on smiling, y'all. Y'all always keep smiling.
You,
thank you.
You always participate at the at Berkeley's graduation celebration. Yeah.
You know what they just had one, and I didn't get an invite. I'm mad. Nah, but what I do is what I always do is I always do the open house for the masters. I always speak at the open house, but I always tell them all the time, like, if ever you need somebody, I'm always gonna do it. So I don't mind. So I know a couple people when they graduate next year, they said that I better be there. So I think I got no choice.
My journey will end this August at Berkeley.
All right, so I want that invite.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Then okay.
So after your journey ends, what's next?
Next is doing my master's
All right. Do you know what you're doing it in?
economy.
Economy. Oh, you know what's funny?
I had a choice between finance and economy, but I'm more with economy. So yeah, I gotta do it.
Good girl. Because that finance and that accounting,
Yeah.
economy, economics,
Not for me.
that was like the worst class for me in school. I was like, I don't know if I get this degree because this accounting and finance is going to be the death of me. And then I was like, oh, Adam, one class is like, oh, you got a B. So I'll take it. The next one, then in finance, I got an A. I almost fainted. I said, what? It was like you passed. I will never go back to that class. I'm all right.
3 finance class. 3.
Bless your heart. One.
Yeah, and I passed. And the funny thing is, I passed all of them with A. I don't like numbers, but I'm good at it.
All right.
That's the thing.
That's not my problem. I love numbers. You know what my problem is? Placement. I don't want to do anything where if I have one thing wrong, it messes up both sheets.
Oh my God.
Exactly.
Like, that was the scariest thing for me. Like you got a class where you get a test, either you're going to get a 100 or you're going to get a 20. I don't want a class like that.
I don't want that. I remember statistics. Oh my God.
Yeah.
I don't know if you remember in finance doing debit and credit.
And then it's clear on the balance sheet, but then when it goes to the other sheet,
if you mess up the first part, everything is bad. So yeah.
When I got all the way to like the end of the class, like accounting, when it got to like FIFO and LIFO, that's when I was great. After that, I was like, I'm great with this. Before that, I said, I'm gonna fail this class.
Well, I'm glad you did it.
I'm glad I didn't either.
But I remember usually you you didn't like statistics, but you passed the class.
I know, because I have to.
Yes. Thank you. It was an option. No degree if you don't pass me. That's how it goes. So some way, shape, or form, you're going to pass. But it's not like it was destined, like,
No, I have to. I was forced.
The worst is when you're doing the work and then it hits 11 o'clock at night and you got to submit it by 11:59 and you're sweating. You're like,
Oh my God. Oh no.
Oh, Lord.
And I remember one of my sisters said to me, well, if you hate statistics that much, why would you go for psychology?
but
That's
no,
true.
they forced you to do the math classes.
I'm like, well, the
Wow.
fact that I like psych doesn't mean that I like statistics.
Yeah.
But there's always something that you don't.
I know. And then you know what they say? Oh, when you do your paper, it's going to be statistics. You're gonna have to do like interviews and have to do all this research. I'm like, don't try to sugarcoat it. It's not going to be the same way. Don't sugarcoat it.
Exactly.
That's true. Oh God, what we have to go through.
All
I think
that.
that was the worst part of college.
Definitely. Oh God. Well, Adam, we will not hold you too long. I want to thank you again for your for taking your time to join us. Let's get to know each other. And I know that you are going to share this show with your friends
Mhm.
because
Yes,
there's that too. You know me. Well, I learned that from you anyway. So
Oh, God.
yes. So let's continue to check on each other and also share our experiences with other people that we probably open a door for them by sharing on experience and so on. And let's keep pushing forward. And I know that you are doing like great things and you are going to continue on doing great things because that's what we do.
Thank you.
Thank you again, Adam. And then just remember that you have a fan, okay? I am.
Aw.
I might not be the number one because you got my sister, but I'm number two. Trust me.
Nah,
So yeah, I'm number two. So
we're all fans of each other. There's no number one or two. No, yeah, and then, like I said, if you want to prove you're a fan, I better see a ticket in my email for graduation.
you will. You will.
Damn.
Oh, you will. Oh
I'm
yes,
telling
you will.
everybody I'm going back to Berkeley. They're like, you going back to Berkeley? I'm going back for one day only.
No, you will get the ticket. Trust me, you will. And thank you, because it was a very nice time talking to you, and I had the chance to meet you, even if we talk about you all the time. Yeah, you're like, yeah, but I wanted to meet you. And I think on Tuesday, that's when you tell me that we're gonna have this conversation with Adam. And the first thing I wrote is Adam multiple L, like that Adam from Berkeley.
From Berkeley. I was like, is that his last name? Adam from Berkeley?
Yes. And she was like, yes, Adam. I'm like, okay, I'm live. I'm already live.
Aw.
Just tell me when and I'm already live. So yeah, thank you. Yeah.
So it's always an honor like to talk with you. And yeah, we can't wait to share this platform with you again.
Yes.
I'm always,
All right then.
Trust me, this is
Thank
not the last time.
I hope not.
En nous, yon apprend kon lot. Can you say that? Can you say it? En nous,
I knew.
yon
New young.
apprend
I've done.
kon
Done.
lot.
Luck.
Yeah.
Come on. Come on. Yeah.
All right, Adam. Well, we'll let you go now. Have a good
All right.
night.
Thank you. Have a good night. Bye.
Bye.